Have you ever considered hiring skin artists when update 5 starts coming along, so the skin system is a bit more throughout than it was in Legacy?
Well, that's a great question, and I'm glad that
Yeah.
that one is was asked because I can give you more context to that. So back in Legacy, we did not have as many options to do as much as what we can do currently. Remember, again, that is like it's a separate game, totally different game. And our hands were tied by in way more ways than you guys will ever understand. No matter how many times we say it, you will never understand just how constrained we were with Legacy. So a lot of those skins, especially when we started doing the skin system and stuff like that, especially when it came to differentiating, for instance, the sexes between creatures, we didn't have as many options for sexual dimorphism like we have now. So we couldn't lean as hard into things being too outlandish. And especially with you guys wanting to have your own custom skins and stuff, which we do support, we also had to be very measured in that. We know you guys, some of you guys like your hot pinks and your neon greens and stuff like that. I just hate to break it to you, we're not that game. That's not our vision for how we want our dinosaurs running around. So we did have to kind of cripple you a little bit on the colors that you could choose and the different combinations that you could have because there's just certain images that we don't want to be represented with our dinosaurs. Like we want to keep it as natural as possible while still providing you guys the ability to express yourselves through the skin system. But all of that being said, when we when we do implement this skin system this time, we're definitely going to be trying to make it more robust and feel like you have a lot more agency, not just with the colors that you choose, but also the patterns of your character. So we're trying to check as many of those boxes as we can, because first and foremost, we don't want to make anything or put anything out visually that we don't stand by. So we don't stand by neon green T Rex or, a bright purple Barney T Rex. We don't stand by that. So because of that, that's a box we need to check that all of the options that you guys will choose for your self expression will be something that we can live by. And we want to make sure that you have a little bit more agency over choosing different patterns for certain creatures, but we do want to keep them within a realm of possibility, not something that's too outlandish or whatever. We want it to look good. And then the same also goes for your color choices.
Yeah, and the patterns as well. Like one question here is that between two different skin works, is it possible to mix them via similars for the hatchlings? Would be cool to achieve something like that. There are some technical challenges on that, but maybe we can do. Um,
So what I think gets us excited the most is, and we do have to be careful about this because there are so many production pitfalls that you can fall into, like future creep, is that sometimes we do get so excited to deliver on, and we don't do this as much anymore whatsoever. Is what we had difficulties with before, is that we get excited to do certain things and to bring you guys certain features, and sometimes we lean maybe a little bit too hard in it and we need to be a little bit more measured about what we do. But when it does come to the customization of your creatures and then in the future of your characters, we do want you guys to be able to do that because we are also gamers and we like that. We like character customization.
are parry mechanics gonna be a thing? Well, that's a good question because Paki.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, we need
I
to.
guess that might kind of count. Yeah, I guess that counts.
Yeah, I just don't. I'm not sure how deep we go in that route because right now the way it is, like if a Paki headbutt another pack, they are both stagger, you know. But what else? What we are gonna do beyond that?
Hmm.
I don't
Yeah, I
I
think we should
don't
go in
know.
and we should start battling each other.
Oh,
We should go in and do
yeah,
that
I
sometime.
mean more like what's the purpose? I mean, and we know that we internally we have been discussing about making your dinosaur happy.
Hmm.
So maybe this parry thing could come on that. You know, your dinosaur needs to parry to maybe to unlock nesting, for example. You know, fight another male to unlock
Hmm.
that. We can create some kind of happiness thing, unlockable thing with that. But yeah, we are. Paki is gonna have a like an initial parry system. Bilbo, since you are asking. Have you thought of maybe using all the previous concept arts you made for animals before you decide on something and show us to use those variations for the skin system to choose from? Mm.
Like I don't. So is the question like, are we going to be like, hey, here's all of our concepts, pick which ones you like? Or we're probably not going to do that.
Yeah,
If that's what you mean, I don't know. But I will say this much:
hmm.
all the concepts that we do uh, for color choices, for patterns, all that sort of stuff, which also have several versions. We don't just land at one randomly. So for instance, anything that has a texture on it that's been in Ariba, like probably there was like 13 different color and pattern combinations, if not more. Um, we don't get rid of that stuff. Uh, we hold on to it because, yeah, it might be something that we might put through and like, oh, well, here's a different pattern that we did 9 months ago that you guys didn't know about. We
Yeah.
did that and 10 other ones that you have never seen. So they might show up at that particular time. And that goes for like every single character in Arima currently, for the most part, especially anything new.
Uh,
Like, even for instance, I'll just use this as an example. The Compi has a ton of different color combinations and patterns. A bunch, a whole bunch. So the time will come where you guys will end up eventually seeing that stuff. You're either going to see it because either we're just going to release that sort of stuff out, like in some big art dump that you guys can, if we do an art book or something like that, it'll be in there for sure. Or it'll just show up in the game and you'll wonder, where did that skin color combination come from? Surprise, we did that 8 months ago, or we did it 10 months ago or a year ago.
yeah.
And it's just been sitting there waiting for its opportunity to be implemented. We have such a backlog of things that we have already done and completed that would just boggle your mind, because that's how it works. Is we're having to do so much stuff in advance, and there's so much content that you guys just get like the final stuff. You don't get all the lead up to it. So there's so much content, but we don't throw that stuff out and be like, okay, well, we didn't choose these designs, so let's just throw them in the trash. No, we're not going to do that, because we have exceptionally talented artists. And just because something that they created isn't what we chose doesn't mean it won't have a resurgence later on down the line. So we don't get rid of that stuff.
Did you consider when nesting comes in? Did you consider if hatchlings are going to have some color mutations, some which their parents cannot even choose when choosing skin? Hmm. I don't know. We will see. Ah, this one is cool. Kissen, how are clothes for the mercs going to look? Are there gonna be more decoration relax time clothes or just armor clothes?
Oh,
More like armor.
well, if I understand the question correctly, are you mean like, is their clothing going to be purely cosmetic versus have like gameplay purpose? If that's what you're asking, it's going to be a combination of the two. Is some of what you're going to put on your character will have gameplay implications, and no, not just armor, because there are going to be some things that you can put on that will give you a tactical advantage in one way or the other, but also don't constitute as armor. So I can't get too much into detail on that though. The guys look pretty cool though when you say the Lipe,
The latest armor, you mean?
right?
Yeah.
Well, just in general, I'm just like they like look pretty cool to me. They look like they can kick your door in,
No,
that's for
yeah,
sure.
it's cool. I have I don't know. Shouldn't say anything, I guess, but
Say
it's kind of
anything.
generic. I just feel it's a little too sci-fi for me personally, but whatever.
Well, remember, that stuff is for other stuff. You probably don't even remember that because that's not, since that's not your task, I'm sure you don't pay
Yeah.
attention to all those details. That's not what all that stuff is for. So you'll see.
Okay. Well,
We'll talk about it later since you don't know. I'll tell you.
all right. I really hope for feather options with skins. Mm, that adds another layer of assets to be done, So
Yeah, so
I
that sort of stuff is like
yeah.
way, way, way down.
If we do that, because
I will be upfront in saying this much. Uh, we have been having conversations like that currently because we have to plan ahead for that sort of thing anyway. So we a lot of those decisions for some things that you see showing up, we had to make those decisions months and months and months beyond when you ever saw it, or when sometimes beyond when you ever even heard that it exists, because some of those things do take actual production preparation in order to actually create. So we've already been having those types of discussions so that we can pinpoint the things that we want to do and the things that we don't necessarily want to do.
yeah. Filipe, will some dinos have different kinds of views on the world around them? Like, for example, a different dinosaur have different colors on the map, like color blindness. We discussed that before. It's possible that we
Hmm.
do that for some animals, how they see the
Yep.
world. So let's go back to that in the future.
Um, yeah, so we definitely have talked about that. To give a tiny bit more information without giving too much, is our primary concern, and especially mine, is to make sure that if we do something like that that actually alters the player's vision, that it doesn't create a scenario where to play as that particular creature, you have a substantially degraded visual experience, because we don't really want to do that, where like, let's say by virtue of having chosen X dinosaur, you have to look upon the game through a trash filter. We don't want to do that. But we do have some options to get around that, so that we can have the best of both worlds, so that the environment is still beautiful, but it's still pretty difficult for you to see that one creature that your particular dinosaur.
Will you be able to see your skin at all growth stages when making it?
Oh, like a slider so that
We
you
can do
can
that.
tell what it'll look like at each stage. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Hmm.
I like that.
Yeah, it's easy to do actually. The cursed word, easy. But yeah,
Don't.
it is. It's not a big deal. Yeah. It's like is light model customization like different crest shapes and stuff like that possible? Technically, yes, but again, it's a lot of assets to be done just for that. And well, it also needs to correctly merge with the growth systems, so it's not simple. It will take a lot of time and research, so probably not. But why does Pitera have sexual dimorphisms? Because it was working already, so we had.
Yeah, and plus, and again, as I had mentioned before, remember when I said that we have to plan stuff out way in advance? We do have to make sure stuff works. So if it worked the way we wanted it to on something that we could test it on, then sure, we could just give it to you. I mean, what we could also do is we could do those sorts of tests, like you're bringing up the example with the pteranodon. We could have done that test and then not given you sexual dimorphism and just held that like just held that tech until we were ready to get into update number 5. And then you'd have to decide as an individual, do you like having it sooner? Or would you have rather had nothing and then been saying the entire time, why is there no sexual dimorphism whatsoever in the game, as opposed to having seen a working example of how it's going to function in the future?
Yep.
All right, I think I'm probably going to get some. Oh, looks like you're almost done here downloading.
Mm-hmm.
Probably going to get some lunch.
Okay. See you later then. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, sure. It was nice. You guys be good in here. You treat Felipe right. I have to see some of your Red Dead gameplay. So you're basically going to just hop into a game and just start running into people?
I guess. In beginning maybe, and then are there secret things you guys add to update? Pre-planned, or do you adjust what gets added in the update based on how development is going? Kind of both. If you have something that's already done and working properly and was already tested, we might just add to the update. And other things are planned to be in secret until we want to release in a specific update. So it's both things, kind. Are we gonna see more complex underwater environments on the reworked map, like lakes, Pedder River? Yep. Underwater foliage as well. But, I mean, not in the update 4 probably, but as the updates are being released, more stuffs are gonna be added on that regard. How is the new scent that different from the old one? Most visually, it looks more. It's not little balls anymore. Those is colored sphere. It's more like a cloud. It's more cloud looking. I have always wanted different color scent track markings for your own prints as well as pack mates. Yeah, we plan to add something like that. Like, if you are tracking a specific target, you could kind of mark the footprints so it don't get mixed with everyone else, include yourself. So it's easier to track. It would be possible in the future to have little islands around the big island and dinosaurs could swim to go there. Yeah, I think so. Have you guys talked about mark customization in terms of facial details, possible tattoos, scar height? Yeah, we want it to be the super customizable. So I guess face details, tattoos are included on that. Is the level design going to change eventually? Or is the level of spiral already final? Mountain ranges, bodies of water? No, that's not. That's gonna change, yeah. It already changed for update 4 and it's going to continue to change as necessary.